Welcome to History with Herodotus, where the boundaries of time and space are bridged by the power of storytelling. Today, we embark on a journey to the sun-kissed hills and grasslands of southern Africa to explore one of the most fascinating and tumultuous conflicts in human history, the Zulu War. This epic struggle, fought between the British Empire and the Zulu Kingdom, was a clash of cultures, a test of strength, and a pivotal moment in the shaping of modern Africa. As we delve into the world of 19th century southern Africa, we find ourselves in a realm of majestic beauty where the rolling hills and verdant valleys are dotted with the thatched roofs of traditional Zulu homesteads. The air is alive with the sounds of cattle lowing, birds singing, and the distant drumbeat of war. It is here, amidst this vibrant tapestry, that we encounter the mighty Zulu Kingdom, a powerful and proud nation forged in the crucible of battle and tempered by the wisdom of its leaders. At the heart of the Zulu Kingdom was its formidable ruler, Mpande, a just and fearless leader who had inherited the throne from his father, Mpande. Cetewayo's reign was marked by a series of challenges, as the British Empire, with its insatiable hunger for expansion, began to encroach upon Zulu territory. The discovery of gold in the nearby Transvaal region had set off a frenzy of speculation and settlement, drawing thousands of prospectors and adventurers into the area. As tensions simmered between the Zulu Kingdom and the British, a series of diplomatic incidents and skirmishes escalated into full-blown conflict. The spark that ignited the war was the refusal of Cetewayo to comply with an ultimatum issued by the British, demanding that he disband his army and accept British control over his kingdom. This ultimatum, crafted by the British High Commissioner Sir Bartle Frere, was a masterpiece of diplomatic duplicity, designed to provoke a response from the Zulu leader that would justify British intervention. Meanwhile, in the British camp, a sense of confidence and complacency pervaded the ranks. The British Army, fresh from its victories in the Crimea and India, was convinced of its own invincibility. Its leaders, men like Lord Chelmsford and Colonel Glynn, were seasoned veterans of colonial warfare who viewed the Zulu Kingdom as just another primitive tribe to be conquered and assimilated into the empire. As the British Army began to mobilize along the borders of Zululand, the Zulu people prepared for war. Their warriors, renowned for their bravery and discipline, donned their traditional regalia, adorned with feathers, beads, and cowhide shields. The air was electric with anticipation as the two armies faced each other across the rolling hills and grasslands of southern Africa. In the months leading up to the war, a series of events unfolded that would ultimately seal the fate of the Zulu Kingdom. The British, seeking to weaken Cetewayo's position, began to support rival claimants to the throne, fueling divisions within the Zulu royal family. At the same time, they launched a series of provocations, including the seizure of Zulu cattle and the imposition of harsh penalties on Zulu subjects who refused to submit to British authority. As the British Army continued to mobilize along the borders of Zululand, the Zulu people prepared for war with a sense of determination and foreboding. On January 11, 1879, the British launched a series of attacks on Zulu border towns, including the town of Kwamondi, in an effort to weaken Cetewayo's position and disrupt his supply lines. The Zulu warriors, however, were not easily intimidated, and they responded with a fierce counterattack that sent the British reeling. One of the most significant events of the war occurred on January 22, 1879, when a large British force, led by Lord Chelmsford, launched an attack on the Zulu stronghold of Isandlwana. The British Army, confident in their own superiority, had underestimated the strength and determination of the Zulu warriors. As the British troops advanced, they were met with a hail of spears and gunfire and soon found themselves surrounded by thousands of Zulu fighters. The battle was fierce and intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Despite being outnumbered, the British fought bravely, but they were ultimately unable to withstand the sheer force of the Zulu attack. As the day wore on, the British lines began to break, and soon the army was in full retreat. The Zulu warriors, sensing victory, pressed their advantage, and by the end of the day, the British had suffered a devastating defeat, with over 1,300 soldiers killed or wounded. The news of the disaster at Isandlwana sent shockwaves through the British camp, and Lord Chelmsford was forced to regroup and reassess his strategy. Meanwhile, the Zulu warriors, emboldened by their victory, began to launch a series of raids on British outposts and supply lines, further weakening the enemy's position. On January 23, 1879, just one day after the Battle of Isandlwana, a small British garrison at Rorke's Drift came under attack by a large force of Zulu warriors. The defenders, led by Lieutenant John Chard and Lieutenant Gonville Bromhead, were vastly outnumbered, but they fought with courage and determination, using their fortified position to hold off the Zulu attackers. Despite being surrounded and outnumbered, the British garrison managed to repel wave after wave of Zulu attacks, inflicting heavy casualties on the enemy. As the night wore on, the Zulu warriors began to tire, and eventually, they withdrew from the battlefield, leaving the British defenders victorious but exhausted. The defense of Rorke's Drift was a remarkable feat of bravery and endurance, and it would go down in history as one of the most famous battles of the Zulu War. As the war continued, the British Army began to regain its footing, and by March 1879, they had launched a series of successful attacks on Zulu strongholds, including the town of Ulundi. The Zulu warriors, however, refused to give up, and they continued to launch guerrilla raids on British outposts and supply lines. On April 2, 1879, the British Army launched a final assault on the Zulu capital of Ulundi, which was defended by a large force of Zulu warriors. The battle was fierce and intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties, but in the end, the British emerged victorious, having destroyed the Zulu capital and broken the back of Cetewayo's army. As the British Army emerged victorious from the Battle of Ulundi, Cetewayo's army was left shattered, and the Zulu king himself was forced to flee. The British, determined to bring a swift end to the war, launched a series of pursuits, eventually capturing Cetewayo on August 28, 1879. The Zulu king was subsequently exiled to Cape Town, marking the effective end of the Zulu War. The British, having achieved their objective of defeating the Zulu kingdom, began to establish a new administration in the region, with Sir Garnet Wolseley as the newly appointed governor. The aftermath of the war saw significant changes to the social and political landscape of the region. Many Zulu warriors were forced to adapt to a new way of life, with some being incorporated into the British colonial forces, while others were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered kingdom. As the historian Jeff Guy has noted, the Zulu War was not just a conflict between two armies, but a clash of cultures and societies, with far-reaching consequences for the people of Southern Africa. In the years that followed, the legacy of the Zulu War continued to shape the course of South African history. The war marked the beginning of a long period of British dominance in the region, which would ultimately contribute to the complex and often fraught nature of modern South African society. Today, the Zulu War is remembered as a pivotal moment in the history of Southern Africa, one that highlights the complexities and challenges of colonialism and the enduring spirit of the Zulu people. The war serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of understanding the past, with all its complexities and nuances, in order to build a better future. As the great historian Eric Hobsbawm once said, "The past is not just a series of events, but a complex web of causes and consequences which continue to shape our world today." The Zulu War may be a distant memory, but its legacy continues to influence the course of history, serving as a reminder of the enduring power of human spirit and the importance of learning from the past. The Zulu War is now remembered through various memorials, museums, and historical sites, including the Isandlwana and Rorke's Drift battlefields, which have become important tourist destinations. These sites serve as a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of the soldiers who fought in the war, as well as the enduring cultural heritage of the Zulu people. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.